I think so many people in their minds create reasons not to do something, or they're afraid. And to be honest with you, when it comes to strongman specifically, because that's what I've competed in the most, the community is phenomenal, hands down. Like I run multiple shows a year, 3 to 4 shows a year. And we take a lot of pride in just getting people involved. Like our biggest class is our novice class, which is like first timers, people who don't want to commit to a weight class. But if you sign up, I guarantee you're going to have one of the best times of your life, regardless of how you do. It's just and to be honest with you, at a local show, I mean, you take it as serious as you want, but it's like, when you look at it from an outside perspective, we're meeting at a parking lot or a meeting at a garage gym. We're slapping on chalk to each other. We're looking like a bunch of idiots, picking up boulders. And when you kind of look at it that way, it takes some of the pressure off, I would say, first of all. But then you realize, like, we're all going to work the next day. We're coming here to show up, be part of the community, be a part of something bigger together, and have a good time. So I just really want people to just try it. It's super easy. You can go on different organizations and just pick a competition. A lot of people always worry about, like, I don't have the equipment to do it. And to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff you can make yourself, you can find yourself. Like, you can go find a big boulder at a rock or anywhere and try to pick it up. There's tons of stuff now that you can have at a commercial gym that can help you mimic those movements. I think a lot of people just overthink it, especially when you're getting involved with it. Like, you don't need to be too concerned with it. Just kind of have some of the basics down. But yeah, I just encourage as many people as possible to just give it a shot. And like I said, when it comes to strongman, the music's going to be blaring, people are going to be cheering, and it's one of those weird sports where, yes, you are competing with people, but at the same time, the guy next to you is like handing you his wrist wraps, or he's like trying to teach you how to do the lift as you're watching other people. Like, I just noticed it's super unique, and from my personal experience, when I was doing Olympic weightlifting, it was like, we didn't talk to competitors, or people gave us weird looks. And I don't know how it is in powerlifting, because I've never competed in powerlifting. But for weightlifting, it was kind of like, man, like this is kind of cutthroat, and like, I get it. It can be that way with certain aspects, but for the beginners getting involved with it, like, I think if we're trying to grow the sport, when we make it a more community-esque and we have these competitions, it really helps, giving people a good experience to just keep growing. And that's what we're here to do, is we want to grow the sport as big as possible. So trying to really pay attention to the newcomers, take them under the ropes. So yeah, just get involved with it, and train your ass off, but at the same time, like, go in with an open mind and just throw yourself in there and see what happens.
Powerlifting's much the same way, where I think that a lot of the beginners or people that may want to try to get in the sport, they're intimidated, thinking that it's bigger than what they think, and where with strongman, I don't know the details. We'll talk about there a little bit in regards to the direction I'm going with this, where, I mean, anybody can go to a local powerlifting show and meet whatever it is, and probably win for the most part. It just depends who shows up. And even state meets are kind of that way. It's not like this huge accomplishment. Now, to qualify for nationals, you got to have a total, which is going to be, same with Olympic weightlifting. There's definitely a big difference, with that. And then they're not going to get in that field because they're not good enough to compete against those, unless those guys just happen to, go to a local show just as a tune-up or whatever it's going to be. But usually it's a rarity. But in powerlifting, it would be the nationals pretty much across the board. In some federations, probably not so much, but most of them, the nationals, where you can say you're good, but then top half of the nationals or top 3 of the nationals. How's that work with strongman, to where you can say, you're good? Is it nationals? And then if it is nationals, are the bottom half of each division just not that good? Like, where's that break to where you can say, no, you're legit, you're kind of legit?
Man, this is a tough question, because it's tough. It's like the waters are so muddied. At least
powerlifting the same way. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So like in strongman, like you said, you can go to a local show, have a great time. You could win that show, your first show. The top 3 in each weight class, or the winner from novice, will then get an invite to nationals. Usually
of every show. So the nationals can suck too, for the most part.
It can, but the difference with nationals is the weight difference. So it's like, say at a competition locally, you know, I have to deadlift 500 pounds for reps.
Let me back up. The word suck probably. What I'm talking about now. Say you got a guy that's been training for a long time, that's semi decent strength. They want to get into powerlifting. I'd be telling them, look, you need to get, you know, work your way, get into the nationals, compete against people at that level. Then if you get, you know, the top 3, top 4 there, you're probably good. That's who I'm talking about here. So when I say suck, anybody that competes at that lower level, no, you don't suck. Everybody kind of works their way up to that level.
No, so the thing with nationals is huge.
Yes.
But with nationals, the weights are substantially heavier.
Okay.
So it kind of like, it's like, you know, evens the playing field out real quickly, because you could say say you're a heavyweight, right? And I'd say for most heavyweight guys, like 500 for reps, most people in the class could do that. Maybe it's even for 1, right? But then in nationals, you're going like 7 to 750. Like they will jump the weight up that high just to kind of wean people out right away.
Okay.
So then it comes down to like, do you want the experience to just say you into nationals and try, or like, are you really trying to train and be competitive? And you'll find out if you are there.
So that's like day 1 they would do that?
Well, so usually it depends. It could be it could always be 1 day or 2 days, depending on the nationals.
Okay.
There's always,
but they're not going to finish.
Probably not. Like I'll put it this way: if you zero an event at nationals, like you are not going to make it to like being like a top guy. Yeah. Like any event. So there's 5 events. If you zero one, your chances of making any sort of podium or being in the top 10 are pretty slim. And that's why they do it on purpose. So there's different avenues and organizations when it comes to strongman. So there's USS, and then there's NAS, which is Strongman Corp, and they each come with different perks for winning nationals. So like when I won nationals, I was offered a bunch of international shows, and then it becomes this whole conversation of like, what's a pro? Who's a pro in strongman? And you know, at this point, it's like if you want to be deemed a actual pro, you have to basically go to the Arnold, or go to like a different organization, and then that deems you a pro. So technically for me, winning USS Nationals and also competing on Team USA for Ultimate Strongman with other guys and going to Ukraine, I'm still technically not a pro because I did not go to the Arnold through a different organization, or I didn't win a world title in other organizations. So there's a bunch of different organizations. Like you have official strongman games, and that was one of the things. It's like I wanted to compete in official strongman games, or OSG, because I would try to take the title as a 105 for like the best in the world, you know, and that's just kind of like, then you're deemed a pro.
Yeah.
But are you still a pro? Because
powerlifting is the same way.
Yeah,
you know, it's just the nature of those sports. I'm just trying to give a little bit of guidance to the people that would have the potential to move in that direction,
for sure,
what they need to do. So they obviously don't want to be spending their time running around to local meets. You do want to get your feet wet. If you do really well, try to get your ass to the nationals and, you know,
and go from there.
From there.
Yeah. I mean, then there's like, you know, World's Strongest Man. And obviously we all know World's Strongest Man. They're the top cream of the crop. And it all depends on like, what do you define as a pro, right? Like if does it go off of like, for strongman, like getting paid, you know, is that what deems you a pro? So there's so many variables. And it just comes down to what route do you want to pick. Like if you want to go to the Arnold, you need to compete in the Strongman Corp organization. If you want international shows, which I thought was really cool, I went for USS and I went to Ukraine and I got to compete, and we took 3rd place for Team USA. And that was a really cool accomplishment. I thought that was an awesome top point of my career. Like you talk about memories. Phenomenal. You know, then there's the OSG, which is technically you aren't a pro, like you don't win a pro card or anything, but you will be the best 105 in the world if you win that, or whatever weight class you're in. So it really comes down to like, okay, big picture thing. Do I want to go to the Arnold? Do I want to compete internationally? Do I want to go World's Strongest Man or whatever? And then you have to pick what organization you want to do to get there, because they all have different perks and feats, because they're all individual people trying to promote whatever makes them individually the best.
Okay.